Good morning, Southern California, AM 1220 KHTS. Host Fred Arnold on the Valley Industry Association Business Spotlight. I'm joined by Becca Keating. Becca Keating, we've known each other from within town, written several books, and we're going to talk about Impact Your World, empowering the constitutional and conservative citizen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks. It's good to be here.
Well, you know, this country was founded on the Constitution, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know about founded, but it was established at the very beginning, and a lot of people are kind of confused as to what it's all about. And the main thing is it explains the structure on which the government should be running. So as we learn more about it, then we know when it's not done properly, when the judicial branch is out of line, when the executive branch might be out of line, so we can rein it back in, because it was designed so that we, the people, would be in charge.
And there's a balance of power.
Exactly.
Not one.
Exactly.
Not one
Not
entity.
the king.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have a king. We don't have all those. I think we have the best. I think we have the best system ever.
Yes,
however,
true.
Sometimes it gets pushed one way or the other, and I think that it always needs to come back to what it truly was. So let's talk about the relevance between a constitution, conservatives. Citizen when it comes to business. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, when we discussed the fact that when there's a healthy nation, there is a healthy economy. When there is a healthy city, healthy meaning respect for one another. Let's just kind of get basic. Respect for one another. There's the crime rate is down. When there's a respect for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, there is a quality of life that trickles down to business. And the better the community is as far as those types of things, the reverence for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the better the businesses are free to run. They're not regulated by the government. They're not saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to get, and then you're taxed. It frees them up to be innovative and entrepreneurial, and to really to be what America has produced for the last 225 years.
Well, let's talk about a few topics, because I'll go from the argumentative side on a few things. For example, I think that the EPA in some places was brilliant, only because I don't think companies should dump chemicals into land, right?
Yeah.
So that was a good use of powers, but then it get translated to where you can't build because of
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
So let's talk about that, because well-intended. You know, I don't think any water should be polluted. I think that we all have the right to not experience that. Yet it gets taken to the extreme.
Yeah, but it goes back to character. If those that were running the corporation had the character that the founding fathers have, let's say, in that there's a respect for one another, a respect for the environment, a respect for other businesses, that wouldn't have occurred. So you have this, which there are the reasons why we have laws, actually, and there's more and more and more and more laws, because there's not an inner law. There's not something within them that says, no, that's not right, that's not kind, that's not thoughtful. I mean, the basic things. And so you have this self-centered, let's say, I'm going to grab for all I can because it's me, you know. Well, that's when there's a need for outward restraint. But if the founding fathers actually talked about the inward strength, that this government, this type of government, is not going to work if there's not the inward constraint. So as we as citizens are back to the basics of loving one another and having respect and thoughtfulness for our rivers, for our deserts, or
For our lands.
Land. And to tell you the truth, if you own that land, won't you be more responsible for that land? And more we see the government coming in and taking chunks of land that I don't know what they're doing with it, except maybe either restrict development. Like in Arizona, I saw a large chunks of land being taken by the government, which could have produced gold and silver and copper. What do they need with it? I don't know. But in Texas, if you look at the graphics of who owns the land, it's the Texans who own the land. And what state is most business friendly? Texas. It is producing, it's vibrant, it's got things going on, and Californians are moving there, sad to say.
Let's talk about something since we're on Texas. In fact, my intern, Chase.
Oh, are you
Lynn,
from Texas?
He's going to school, University of Texas. So let's talk about Texas real quick before we jump to a quick break.
Okay.
I saw a sign in a bank that said
in Texas?
yes, that said concealed weapons welcomed. And before they had a sign that said concealed weapons were not welcomed, and they were robbed and robbed and robbed. And then all of a sudden they had concealed, easy for me to say,
Concealed.
weapons welcomed,
Yes.
and they didn't have another crime there. They didn't have another robbery.
There you go.
Why is that?
Well, the logic is if you know there's someone in there that could shoot you, are you going to enter that business? No.
There's a consequence to your
Yes,
to your actions.
exactly. And it's the same way with these gun-free zone schools. It's like, no, you should have a sign up that said, come in at your own risk because we've got some guns in here and we're not going to tell you what teacher has them. You know that?
We're going to
I mean,
protect
it's-
ourselves.
Yes, we're going to protect the children. And we're going to protect
We're here
their
to protect the
families.
children.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of, they're targets, and which is really, really,
Exactly.
but it's a
Craziness.
psychological way of thinking that I think we got into in this country.
Well, it was a wrong turnaround that guns do bad things. No, it's the people that hold them that do bad things. But if you are a responsible citizen, you use it to protect your businesses and your family.
And it's part of the Constitution. We're going to jump to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be with Becca Keating, Impact Your World, Empowering the Constitutional Conservative Citizen.
Yay.
Yep. This is Fred Arnold on AM 1220, KHTS.